I wish I would have coordinated my speech with Brian before he did his for me, but the beginnings were very similar. So like, unlike most people who meet their friends, through like shared activities or, natural means, at a party or something, Brian and I like met through literal luck. I mean, so like, I don't know how many colleges does this. I don't even know if Texas does this, but roommates at Notre Dame are completely random, and Brian and I were completely selected randomly to live together freshman year. And, as like a 17-year-old kid with, all the social anxiety that goes into going to college for the first time and, trying to meet all new people and being an awkward person to start with. Walking into that room freshman year was like really nerve-wracking, but I couldn't have asked for a better situation. Brian was super welcoming. He was like my social gateway to like everyone in my dorm. I don't think I would have even like met anyone if it wasn't for Brian. I definitely wouldn't have met any girls if it wasn't for Brian. That's like a definite. But so I was thinking the other day, I was like, what if like that wasn't happen? Like, what if I like roomed with someone else? What if I never met Brian? So like what would that alternative have been? And I know for sure, like, those 4 years would have been a lot less fun. I mean, over those 4 years, we lived with some great people. What's up, Pat? We went to great parties. We hosted great parties. All had very alliterative names, like Classy Christmas or the Preppy Party, which 19-year-old Ryan was, like, super into the Preppy Party. Things have changed a little bit. But yeah, we were basically inseparable for 4 years. We moved off campus senior year. Before that, dorm life was great. We played football basically every day on the quad. We're not that great, but it's okay because everyone at Notre Dame is not that great, including the real team. But out of all this, like, the one thing I'm like super appreciative to Brian about is when we joined the student manager program together. I still remember that freshman year when that envelope came under our door, and it's like, start working for the athletic department. Like, you could eventually earn a scholarship after like 10,000 hours of work. Cool. And I remember doing that, and like we decided to join that together. We ended up having unforgettable experiences. We met great people. A lot of these people are here today, sitting at this table over there. It was unforgettable, and I would never have gotten through that if it wasn't for Brian, and I'm really thankful for that. Post-graduation, we went our geographically separate ways. Brian got his incredible job here, and I jumped around to a new city every year for the last 5 years. But the one constant of me moving all around the country for the last 5 years has been having Brian on the other end of that phone. I still remember that first year. I had a terrible job. I lived in the middle of Indianapolis. It wasn't too fun. I didn't have too many friends, and it was great FaceTiming with Brian. I know you threw out the FaceTime comment, but Brian, that first year was great. Literally, that FaceTime popped up, and it was always Brian sitting there with Mosby on his chest, just like making me feel better, and that was incredible. And that continued through all my moves. I moved to DC. I moved to San Francisco. Brian found me a roommate, which was great. What's up, Dan? And like his like constant support through all that has been fantastic. And then there's Jen. I remember the text I got from Brian when he met you, that he met this great girl at work, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's great. And I knew that you were a keeper when you got Brian to start running. I was like, this is the guy in college who used to drive to Krispy Kreme down the street and get a dozen donuts and finish them before he got back to our dorm. He still does that? Oh, well, he doesn't look like he does that anymore. But you guys are great. You guys are a perfection couple. Like, you guys travel the world together. Like, that's incredible. Iceland and Spain and Portland, even if that's in the U.S. Like, that's incredible. And I mean, Brian, I wouldn't say he was the most like traveled and cultured person when I met him. So this has been like, I mean, it's been like 10 years since I met Brian, and this has been like, he's a whole different person now, and this is solely because of you. So thank you for that. And yeah, so that's more or less all I've got. But let's give a cheers to the couple here, and let's have a great rest of the night. I'm dancing starting soon, so.